What an awesome tune that was. That was the Black Eyed Peas. I Got a Feeling, right? And that's where it all starts and stops. How you're feeling. What emotions are you putting out? Hey, what are you omitting? I was just talking to somebody the other day about emotions. And we were talking specifically about the emotion of anger. Do you realize when you're dealing with an emotion, once you name it, it's easier to shake it. But if you don't name it and you just ride that wave, you will keep justifying that emotion over and over. So, for example, anger. So you're feeling angry because of whatever. So instead of stopping and saying, oh my gosh, am I ever angry? And what control you give, right? When you let emotion control you as opposed to you controlling emotion. So you say to yourself, oh, am I ever angry? Then you own it. You move on because you've attached the anger to the event, as opposed to not doing that, where you turn around and you don't name it, don't own it, but keep getting angry, keep getting pissed off, right? At whatever. So that's where the snowball starts. That's where it starts just growing and growing. So, you're at work, your boss upset you, now you're angry. So then instead of turning around and saying, you know what, I can't believe that guy got to me, and he made me so angry over ABC, whatever. Instead, then you turn around and you're like, and just my luck, my coffee's not the right temperature. And just my luck, I go, and now I'm really angry because there was no toilet paper in the stall. And then Sally said that thing that she knew she wasn't going to say because I'm all emotional and I'm sensitive now because I'm angry. So, you have two options. You can be angry and own it and drop it and move forward. Or you can extend that, oh my gosh, and just be angry all day, ruin your whole day. And, just a newsflash, everybody's around you because they're all going to pick up on that, right? So, we're not going to be angry. We're going to be happy. We're going to be positive. We're going to be uplifting. And we're going to have a great day. I called it. We're going to have a great day. And don't get baited. I have to tell you real quick before we do the good news. So, I'm listening to the radio yesterday, local station. I only listened to it because Al likes to listen to it on the way to work. Sorry, just being honest. So, we're driving along and Buddy starts talking about, did you know it's Blue Monday? Then he goes, so he's planted the seed. Oh, it's Blue Monday. I'm supposed to be depressed today. Then he justifies it. He says, well, it's a dark day, because it's not very light, especially here in southwestern Ontario, right? Wherever you are, it might be different. But here, we're in short days. So, it doesn't get light till like almost 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark by 5:15, 5:30, something like that. I don't know, maybe a little bit later now. Anyways, so he says, it's Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year because people are getting their credit card bills. We're broke from Christmas. Our social activities have wind down. And our credit card bills are coming in, whatever, short days, this, that, and the other. And then he follows up and he says, but they haven't really proven that to be true because who is surveying everybody to find out? Ah, very valid point. So then he's like, so we don't know if that's true or not. But then he carries on to go back to it, and when he's done whatever, this little snippet of him talking, try to get through the Blue Monday. Try to do the best you can today because it's going to be a depressing day. Well, thank you for planting the seed of that in my head because I'd never heard of Blue Monday. And that made me angry. I owned it and I moved on and didn't let it wreck my day. But I was like, no wonder we're in the state we're in because somebody planted this. This was like 7:30 in the morning. Somebody planted that seed that I was supposed to have a depressing day. And not everybody thinks the way I do yet. So they don't know, and they might just be like, okay, so I totally expect today to suck. And then it would, because whether you can or whether you can't, you called it. It's a true story. So there you go. So it's time for the good news. And if you are just tuning in, we're on the Playfair Music audio stream. This is Positive Power, because our power is in our attitude and our thinking and our spending. We have so much power. And I am Michelle Dion. So thank you for joining me. And let's get into the good news. There is a lot of good stuff going on in the world. Now, before I share my 3 stories that I like to share 3 stories every time. I'm going to do a little shout out to Mark Wahlberg. Sure, he's listening, right? I was just reading that he made $1.5 million on something that he's shooting. Of course, I didn't retain all the important details or anything. So he got paid like $1.5 million for this part. And the woman he played, equal effort, like they were doing the same amount of work. She got paid under $1,000. So he is donating his $1.5 million towards a lawsuit to help people. I'm going to say people because I'm sure inequality goes all different ways, even though more to women in this scenario. But he's donating his whole, excuse me. He is donating all his money for court to help this injustice. So there you go. Thank you, Mark. Good job. I love it when people who are filthy, filthy rich and they don't have to help anybody. They could just be rolling around in their piles of money. They could have money boxes that they go in and it's just like on a game show, but they choose to share it. I love that. And they choose to make a difference in other people's lives. And that's one of our powers, right? So, very cool. Lots of good stuff going on in the world. So, a lot of talk about South Korea, right? Even though I don't watch the news per se, I go in, I get some information, and before I get emotionally involved, upset, or pissed off, I get the heck out of there. So, this is a cool story. In what looks like a revival of South Korea's sunshine policy of the late 1990s, North Korea has joined talks that could lead to peaceful relations between the two foes. Delegates from North and South Korea announced in a joint statement that they had met for peace talks for the first time in 2 years in order to relieve military tensions between the two countries. Meeting the demilitarized zone just north of the de facto border between North and South Korea, the delegates reportedly discussed the northern nation's participation in the Winter Olympic Games, which are to be held in, Pyeongchang come February. I hope I get points for trying this spelling, just so you know. I honestly try when I'm doing the news. I do the best I can. I was very good at phonics when I was growing up, but I realize I don't get it all right. So thank you for your patience. Anyways, back to the news. North Korea will be sending as many athletes as possible to attend the games, as well as a high-level group of delegates, members of the press, cheerleaders, and artists. The peace talks went so well. The nations even discussed temporarily lifting their travel bans for the Lunar New Year, so families who are separated by the tense border can temporarily reunite for the holiday. The sanctions would also be lifted in order to allow North Korean citizens to attend the Olympics. While Southern delegates mentioned their intention to discuss denuclearization of the North, the other side said such discussions would only dampen progress. But most agree the talks were positive baby steps towards the two nations meeting further on serious issues in the future. Despite heightened international animosity, U.S. President Donald Trump called the news talks a good thing. Do we care what he says? No, not so much, but it was in the article, so I read it. Okay, next story, very cool. The Girl Scouts have been around for a long, long time. I actually was a Girl Scout once upon a time. So what are they known for? Well, they're known for a lot of things, but one of which is their famous cookies. Girl Scouts are out and about selling their famous cookies. And this year, thousands of Scouts are participating in programs that allow people craving cookies to send some goodwill to a local hero or two. This year, the San Jacinto Council of Texas, where 58,000 girls are members, instituted a new Cookies for Heroes program that will give back to first responders who aided those in need during Hurricane Harvey. While cookie giving programs vary by each Girl Scouts of the USA Council, many offer the option to donate cookies to local organizations. In Texas, where Hurricane Harvey left thousands of families displaced, the San Jacinto Council decided to support the many men and women who saved lives and are continuing to help rebuild the community in the aftermath of the devastating storm. For many years, Girl Scouts in our community have been supporting police, fire, and members of the military, including donating cookies. Connie Chavez, Chief External Affairs Officer of Girl Scouts of San Jacinto, told Today Food, "The way our first responders rallied this year, we thought it was especially important to demonstrate how thankful we are to them. The response has been tremendous. Customers served by the council area, which includes Houston, Galveston, and Beaumont, can purchase cookies through their local chapters, and the troops will then donate cookies directly to Hurricane Harvey first responders, which includes the Cajun Navy, in addition to local police, fire department personnel, and members of the military. The local scouts have challenged the community to donate more than 120,000 boxes of cookies." Wow! The Girl Scouts of Central Indiana Council, which has 26,000 members, offers Operation Cookie Drop, which donates cookies to local veterans' hospitals and homes, National Guard armories, and military bases. In 2017, the program donated 95,000 boxes of cookies. In New Jersey, the Girl Scouts of the Jersey Shore Council participates in the Gift of Sharing program, where customers may donate cookies to a local military base, which distributes the treats to troops locally and overseas, a local food bank, and to a unique organization chosen by the scout herself. Isn't that cool? Now, I am going to add, and I'm just saying, that makes sense why they're so expensive, right? Have they not, got so expensive over the years? I mean, I still buy them because, well, I've never met a cookie I didn't like. And the other thing is that I want to support the little kid. I mean, she's got the beautiful little eyes and the little face looking up at me. How can I say no? But, yeah, they've really got expensive over the years. So it's a it's a good thing that they're doing all this stuff with the money, right? Sort of makes it make sense. But, I'm reading along, Girl Scouts. I wasn't a Girl Scout, I was a Girl Guide. So they're all, of the same mix. But what's happened is, when I was growing up, I was a Girl Guide, and my brothers were Boy Scouts. And my parents were British, so, my dad once upon a time was a Scoutmaster, my mom was a Brown Owl, whatever. But, as times have changed, now, because of the activities they do, and we're not traditional anymore, are we? So now a lot of girls go to the Scouts, so apparently they've renamed it, and times are changing, that's for sure. So, last story. This is a little sad, but it's got a happy, it's very sad, but it's got a happy ending. The last two known bears forced to dance for spectators in Nepal have been rescued. On Tuesday, conservation nonprofit Jane Goodall Institute of Nepal, with help from international nonprofit World Animal Protection and local police, confiscated the two sloth bears named Rangila and Shridevi from their handlers in the town of Iherberry. We know that the bears were suffering in captivity since they were poached from the wild, and their muzzles were pierced with hot iron rods, Neil DeCruz, the World Animal Protection, told National Geographic. He also noted the bears' teeth had been removed. DeCruz told the Huffington Post in an email that bear dancing is illegal in Nepal in accordance with the 1973 Wildlife Protection Act. He said that the centuries-old practice had already successfully ended in countries including Greece, India, and Turkey. He added that international animal protection groups are working to end it in Pakistan as well. The practice is widely considered cruel for several reasons, including painful training meant to subdue bear cubs at a young age and the fact that the cubs are often torn from their mothers in the wild. In those cases, the mothers are often killed. It is a life that's left Rangila, 19, and Shridevi, 17, psychologically traumatized. Both bears are in poor psychological condition, showing signs of stereotypical behavior, including head weaving, paw sucking, pacing, mewling, and aggression, due to constant cruel training they endured in captivity. Right now, the bears are in the care of a national park in Nepal. National Geographic reports that 2 of the men who owned them have been temporarily hired to care for them at the park, a measure meant to help the men transition out of financial dependence on bear dancing. Interesting, right? Plans are in the works to ultimately move the bears to a wildlife sanctuary in India. He's hopeful that they will be able to recover from all they've endured. They will need long-term specialized care, but many bears rescued from bear dancing and baiting have been able to live out the rest of their lives peacefully in sanctuaries, he said. We will work to realize this for Rangila and Shradeva too. Isn't that something? Like, it's just amazing that here we are, in the Western world, we're on our phone and we're blow drying our hair and we're dressing our cats up in clothes. I'm not, I swear I am not doing that. But somebody is. Somebody's doing all these things. But in another part of the world, that is really going on. Whenever Tim Hortons has Roll Up the Rim to win, I'm just so me that when I go through and I win, I'll say to the girl, oh my gosh, I feel so bad now because I didn't really put any thought into this. And this is how we are as human beings. So I roll up to the window and then the girl's like, can I take your order? And I'm like, I won. And she's like, what'd you win? I'm like, a coffee, because I blow everything out of proportion. When I win, right, it's that energy of winning. That's my goal, right? Because what you put out is what you get back. So I actually win a lot. So then I say to her, it's okay though. Just give me the coffee. I don't need the balloons and the dancing bears. And it's like a big joke. I had no idea there was still dancing bears in the world. And I never really thought it through of that kind of life. I was thinking of the circus, which is so horrible. But just saying. So, Michelle, note to self, not a funny joke. Not funny at all. But that's very awesome that they've been saved. And you know what? Oh, at least they're out of that environment. That's the thing. Regardless of how much better they get, they are safe now. And that's the important thing, right? Oh, man, what a world we live in. So, even though there's lots of stuff going on that confuses us and we feel sometimes hopeless and scared and defeated, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the world, and there's lots of good stuff ahead. Be excited. Embrace the change. Just sometimes you got to do your own work and look for it. Sometimes we have to find it ourselves. So there you go. That's the good news for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And we are going to go back to the stream for a couple songs before I wrap this show up for today, and I will be back on Thursday.